Crap. I'm sorry.
From roles that were supposed to go in different directions, to new locations that the show was going to film in, and more. Join us as the Stranger Things cast reveal behind-the-scenes secrets.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
20. The original role of Steve. If you are going to create a show set in the 1980s, it's pretty much obligatory that you have at least one, totally 80s stereotypical bully. On Stranger Things, Steve Harrington, Joe Keery, was supposed to be that person. Show creators Matt and Ross Duffer had originally envisioned Steve as more of a trope, but they changed when they met the lovable Joe Keery. That is why there is more of an arc to the character over the seasons. Most fans would agree that this was one of the best decisions they made, and proof that sometimes you need to see who is playing a role before you definitively stick to doing a thing with it. Another great example of this was the Netflix hit series The Witcher. Henry Cavill barely talks as Geralt of Rivia, and that's because his acting and ability to express himself told the writers it would be more clever than Geralt talking all the time.
Hey guys, do you see the...
19. What the Upside Down really is. When viewers were finally introduced to the Upside Down, we're shown a mystifying and beautiful parallel universe full of darkness, tendrils, and spores drifting in the air. It added to the mystery and terror of Stranger Things. But according to David Harbour, the actor who plays Chief Hopper, the Upside Down isn't all that scary. Here's what he said about it. In the show, it's amazing and beautiful, but on the actual set, it's really silly. There's a bunch of purple piping that looks really fake and it pulsates, so it kind of feels like you're in a haunted house. For the spores, there's a dude with a big old pillowcase full of dandelions and a big fan. So you're walking down the hall, and then this guy is just standing there blowing dandelions at you. On one hand, yeah, it ruins the illusion of what is going on. But on the other hand, that shows how important post-production and the ability to believe where you are in terms of actors is. Because if they don't act like it's the scariest place ever, despite everything that's not scary around them, the audience wouldn't believe it.
It's fun and all, but
I have to go home.
we're almost there.
Sorry, man. Curfew. Let's go. Good luck.
18. The location for the show was supposed to be in New York. The location of a series in terms of its setting and how the characters live in that setting is very important. And any Stranger Things fan knows that the show is based in Hawkins, Indiana, but it wasn't going to be like that at first. You see, the Netflix show was apparently inspired by the Montauk Project conspiracy theory that alleges the United States government had some secret projects involving repressed memories, time travel, and various things like that. Deadline first reported on Netflix beginning work on Stranger Things in 2015 when it was under the title Montauk. The description read, "Described as a love letter to the 80s classics that captivated a generation, the series is set in 1980 Montauk, Long Island, where a young boy vanishes into thin air." Matt Duffer explained that they wanted the show set in Montauk after one of their favorite movies, Jaws. Budget constraints resulted in the show being filmed in Atlanta, Georgia, moonlighting as the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana. Given the nature of the show and how many shows are based in New York, it worked out for the best, we think.
No! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
17. No one told 11 her hair had to be shaved. If you think about the iconic look and feel of Stranger Things Season 1, you inevitably end up on the shaved head look of 11, the girl with powers that the Hawkins crew finds and befriends. Millie Bobby Brown landed the role of 11 while she was living in England and therefore did much of the auditioning process virtually. It wasn't until she was face to face with the Duffers at the final audition that she was told she had to shave her head. Brown recalls the exact moment she learned about the fate of her hair, saying, "So I'm standing in the room with them, and Ross Duffer comes over to me and is just like, bzzz, on my head. And I'm like, what's that mean? And Ross said, well, you've got to shave your head." Reports state that Brown was okay with it at first, but her mom wasn't. Then she herself started to get nervous about the action because it's not something you can take back. To get her to go along with it, the Duffers gave her a split screen of her and Charlize Theron in Mad Max Fury Road. She was told to have Theron's frame of mind and use her awesome look for motivation. She went along with it, and now she's iconic.
In fact, how careless all of you are. You're treating her like some kind of machine when she's not a machine, and I don't want her to die looking for the Flayed when they've obviously vanished off the face of the earth. So can we please just come up with a new plan, because I love her and I can't lose her again.
16. Mike's birthmark. There were a lot of changes between the OG concept of Stranger Things and the final product, as we have noted so far, and some of them go a bit more physical than you might expect. One of the initial ideas was that Mike Wheeler, Finn Wolfhard, was supposed to have a birthmark on his chest. After playing around with the concept, the Duffer Brothers nixed the idea. Finn confirmed the fact himself, saying in the Stranger Things Worlds Turned Upside Down book, "My original character had a big birthmark on his face. That was a story point, but they ended up removing it because they thought that us being natural was better." So why was the idea proposed? More than likely, it would have a major story impact for Mike, with many wondering whether the birthmark meant something special, or whether it was a true birthmark at all. That kind of constant makeup to get it on and off, though, would have been a hassle for sure, though, so they were wise to do away with it. 15. Harbour and method acting. David Harbour plays Chief Hopper, as we've noted, and the character is a loner who likes to keep to himself. To help get into the mindset of Hopper, Harbour liked to indulge in some method acting to make his performance more authentic and personal. Therefore, he spent a lot of time sitting alone in his apartment and smoking cigarettes, which is indeed a deep method of method acting. As if that wasn't enough, during shooting for the first episode, he kept his chair off to the side and separated himself from the children. He kept his distance from the kids to help them believe that he was just as intimidating as Chief Hopper. Eventually, though, this all stopped as the cast grew closer together, but he must have been an intimidating presence during the first season, no doubt.
Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
14. Noah as Mike? One of the interesting things about watching a finished project is that when it works out so well, you can't imagine the actors and actresses portraying anyone else. So, it is interesting to hear that one of the big Stranger Things secrets is that Noah originally auditioned to play Mike Wheeler. Noah confirmed the fact on Twitter when asked about auditioning by a fan. "I actually auditioned for Mike first, which, @FinnScotta, was so perfect for," he explained. "Then they called me back for #Will. This happens a lot more in Hollywood than you might expect. And yet, as fans would happily note, the cast is good in the roles they're in right now. The van flip scene. This one shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but it's an interesting thing to talk about, no doubt. One of the bigger moments in the first season of Stranger Things is when Eleven flips the van in episode 7. It was big and powerful and proved Eleven was not to be messed with. The finished shot was incredible, the making of the effect, though, costly. The Duffers decided that they wanted to do the scene without the use of CGI, but many sources told them that there was absolutely no way they could flip a van that large, that high in the air. However, Matt and Ross Duffer wouldn't take no for an answer. They triggered explosives under the van to send it into the air, and the test was so successful that it was approved for shooting. However, it didn't go so well during filming. One of their explosives didn't explode, and the van flew right into a camera, destroying it and its lenses. It ended up costing the production thousands of dollars. The second take went perfectly, and is the scene that viewers see in the show today. This is honestly a big thing that happens in Hollywood, the question of CGI versus practical effects. The latter was used here, and the shot is better for it.
Don't you love your country?
You can't spell America without Erica.
2. How to delay filming, kid style. Ask anyone in Hollywood, and they'll tell you the worst thing you can do during filming is getting it delayed. Schedules are meant to be tight and efficient so that they can get done, and on Stranger Things, with all the various events and such going on, you don't want delays. But during the bus scene in episode 7, one of the boys decided to fart, multiple times. This delayed filming, and eventually the farts became so toxic that the crew had to evacuate the bus. According to the Duffers, these shenanigans frustrated Millie Brown, and they had to give the boys a pep talk the next day. Work obviously progressed, but stern lessons had to be learned.
We are at the White House!
1. The kids are alright, once they're cast. Ross and Matt Duffer and the casting directors obviously had some very specific ideas in mind about what they were looking for when casting the main kids for Stranger Things. It is a popular fact that they auditioned 906 boys and 307 girls for the kids' roles, according to the unofficial Stranger Things A to Z book. That's over 1,200 kids auditioned in total. And think about the odds if you were one of those young hopefuls praying to land a part. Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin Henderson, was the first kid to be cast. As we've noted, the casting worked out perfectly as the show is beloved, but that must have been time-consuming and stressful in all senses of the word. So what do you think? What do you think of these secrets from the set of Stranger Things? Are you surprised by some of what you learned? Did you already know some of these things? What other secrets from the set or with the cast do you know? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.